Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Austin Green. Of course, it's been a while since I've talked to you. How have you been?
Oh, it's great. Just been traveling a lot, racing a lot, so not much to complain about.
Yeah. So I know you've been doing a lot of Trans Am stuff. So just kind of talk about what you've been up to.
Yeah, so I'm running the full-time Trans Am TA2 series this year, and I did three TA2 races last year at Road America and Watkins Glen and Coda. Um, so basically, every track that we've been to now, without Road America, is just brand new. So I got the sim and iRacing to kind of lean on, but it's completely different when you get there in person.
Yeah. So what if going to all these, did you have a road racing background before you kind of did this?
Not really. I mean, the only other road course stuff I did was in legend cars when I was, real young, but I always kind of had a knack for it and kind of picked up on it pretty quick. And I mean, I like road courses. I think they're more, I don't want to say interesting, but just more kind of technical than the circle track stuff. And a lot of the tracks that we go to now this year with Trans Am, it's a lot of historical tracks. So that's always cool to just kind of check that off the bucket list.
Yeah. So how do you feel like you've kind of done with these cars and turning left and right and all that?
I mean, we've had a pretty decent year. It's been up and down. Like our first race at Sebring, I think qualified third, and then was running second all day, and then led there a little bit, and then ended up finishing second. So I thought that was pretty good for the first race with the team that I'm with now. And then the next race we had a power steering issue, and then we had two other power steering issues at two other races, and then we've just had stupid mechanical issues, but you'll have that in this type of racing. So thankfully, the past two weekends or past two races, we've had no problems. But just like last week at Road America, or a couple weeks back at Road America, broke an oil line in qualifying, so had to start last in the race, and then I got caught for jumping the start, supposedly. So had to make a pass through penalty. So came from the back twice, and then drove back up to fifth. So I thought that was pretty good, dealing with all this stuff we had to deal with that day.
Yeah. So kind of talk about what tracks you're running next and all that and the next few of them.
Yeah, so we go to Nashville, the street circuit next week, and I'm excited for that because we were in Detroit with IndyCar
Yeah.
a couple months back, and that was my first street course race. Never been on a street course before, and I mean it's just a different ball game when you get there, and you just kind of got to approach it differently. And we ran good there. The first race, it was a doubleheader, so the first race qualified second, and then lost power steering, so that was unfortunate. But second race, we started in eighth, and then drove up to second, and then I got wrecked on a restart. So could have won that deal, should have won that deal, but yeah, I mean we had good speed there, so I'm really excited for the Nashville race because I think as well as we ran at Detroit, we should run pretty solid here at Nashville.
No. So, going into the next few races this year, of course, kind of I know you're going to Nashville, but you got some other big tracks coming out. I believe Coda is coming up on the schedule, and I believe Watkins Glen might be too.
Yeah, it goes Nashville, Watkins Glen. Then we go to Gateway to run the Roval, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, forgot
Um,
about that.
and then we do VIR, and then we end the season out in Coda in
Right.
November.
Nice. So, of course, I think most people know, of course, your father is David Green, of course, who is a former driver and also one of the top officials in NASCAR. Yeah. So what's that been like? Just to kind of see, kind of grow up in racing, of course, with your family and all that stuff. I know your dad and your uncle Mark are Mark's obviously active within Rev Racing and all that stuff. But what's it kind of like to see, your entire family, see them race and then you kind of creating your own path?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Obviously when my dad and two uncles raced, it was their prime was kind of before I was born. So I was born and kind of into the sport and raised in it. So it's really all I've really ever known. And my mom, she worked in racing. She was Mark Martin's PR lady
Yeah.
back in the 90s, and then before that she did PR for IMSA. So I mean, just every aspect of our family has just always been in racing, and like I said, it's all I've ever known, and it's really the only thing that I truly love. So
Yeah.
I'm very, very fortunate to get to do what I do nowadays, and especially with the way the sport is, and it being more financially driven rather than talent driven, to say. So like I said, just very fortunate for the opportunity and everything I got going now. Um, so I mean, it's a long journey, but hopefully one day I can make it to NASCAR and follow my dad's footsteps.
Yeah, of course you've dabbled in this in the NASCAR. Well, you also made an ARCA start. Though, I think a few years ago when you were believe you were in Toledo. There's actually a story behind it too.
Yeah, it's yeah, so I was working for a race team, just like
Yeah.
a summer job, and working at the shop, trying to get my hands dirty, trying to learn more mechanical things. And so the only race that I traveled to with them was Toledo, and it was a doubleheader. And then something happened on Friday, and then they needed a driver for the Saturday race. And so the owner decided to put me in for Saturday. And yeah, I didn't have any of my equipment, suit, helmet, nothing. So thankfully, I got a couple good friends in the ARCA series at that time. So I leaned on them for some equipment, and then yeah, no practice, no qualifying, and made my first ARCA start.
Yeah. And also that was during the COVID year too. So
Yeah.
yeah, what a way to make your ARCA debut. And then just to kind of follow that up, you're also in college. You also went to college, of course, going to Appalachian State and all that. What's that been like? Just kind of, making your way through school, because you never know what opportunities could bring, and also nice to have one of those college degrees around.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I had a say in it, I think like everybody else, you graduate high school and then you just don't want to go to college. You want to start your life and everything, but my parents really pushed for it, and I'm grateful for that they pushed for it, because you do need a degree in your life, and when you have one, it definitely makes, I don't want to say it makes your life easier, but it definitely just makes getting a job a little bit easier. But I've enjoyed it. I've made a lot of close friends in college, a lot of good experiences. Um, and yeah, I mean, up in Boone, it's at App State. It's pretty. It's when it's cold, it's freezing cold. So that's probably the only downside. But no, it's been good. I mean, usually I just tell the professors that here's what I do. I'm going to be gone these dates. And some of them work with me, some of them kind of hard to work with, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I always tell them it's not like I'm just sitting at home on the couch
Right,
skipping
right, right, right,
class. It's
right.
like I'm out of the state
Yeah.
doing something. So, um, but yeah, no, I love it. I'm going into my senior year this year, so it's gonna kind of be sad to leave, but I'm ready to get my life started.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Well, Austin Green, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck next week at the Trans Am race at in the streets of Nashville.
Yep. Thank you for having me.